Hi, it's James back again for the second video. Thanks very much to everybody who's subscribed and watched the first instalment. So here we are again. So I thought I would just do something fun today. Hopefully going to be looking at the first 5 Squeeze albums, just looking at the artwork on the covers, making our minds up what we think. Squeeze were notoriously a difficult band in terms of their image, very difficult for A&M to sell them. They were not really perceived as having a very strong image, like the Police. So, various attempts were made. I don't think anybody really in Squeeze fandom thinks that Squeeze ever had great album covers, but let's just see what we think of these. So here we go, the first one, Squeeze. This was known as UK Squeeze, of course, in the States. For years and years I've been reading that this muscle man on the cover apparently is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Is that true? I don't know if it's true or not. Mr. Universe. This cover was put together by A&M, art direction Michael Ross. We'll see his name again cropping up in a moment. Photography by George Greenwood. Squeeze photography, Roger Stowell. So here we have the muscle man on the back, and then on the front, and then on the back we have the guys showing off their lesser muscles. I always liked Jules's. He's got like a little cloth keyboard there, which I always thought was quite funny. Jules with his cigar, Gilson clenching. We've got Harry Kukuli here, the original bass player, seems to have some kind of dragon tattoo. I quite like this cover. This is quite iconic. I know at the time, in the late 70s in America, you'd see this cover. There are photographs of it, those big cardboard cutouts they used to have to promote albums. Not sure if the Squeeze guys particularly liked it. I know the original idea for the album title, which John Cale wanted, he wanted the album to be called Gay Guys, and I suppose, I don't know whether the cover was meant to represent that, but it's a cover I actually quite like, really. I'm quite fond of it. I'm going to give that one a good strong 8 out of 10, I think. So there we go. Never managed to find an American copy, because obviously you've got the UK Squeeze there on the American copies. I quite like this. I've still got my sticker on here. Includes the singles Take Me I'm Yours and Bang Bang. I bought this record back in, it would have been 1979 from Wrexham, so that's been in the collection a long time. It's seen better days. I need to upgrade it. Now, the next album we know came in numerous different colour schemes. I actually don't have my original one to hand. The purple one was the original one that I got. That's at my mum's house, so I need to get that back into the collection at some point. So I've got the green one to show you, very garish. This was put together again, I think, by Michael Ross, and this is a bit cheesy, I reckon. I first saw this in a catalogue belonging to my mother. I think it was a Boots catalogue. I'd already got the Cool for Cat single, and I saw the cover of the album and in this catalogue, and just had to have it, so I'm quite fond of it. I am quite fond of it, but I do think it's a bit cheesy. It's nothing like as stylish as some of the covers that Michael Ross was doing at the time. He did the cover for Look Sharp, I think it was, by Joe Jackson, the one with the photograph of his feet on it, which is known as being a bit of an iconic cover, really. But this one, I don't know. I like it as a Squeeze fan. I quite like the fact that it's got the the 2 O's for the in the word cool for the cat's eyes. That's quite clever. Came with a poster and badge originally, which I still have both of those things. On the back, this is the rejigged cover after Harry Kukuli had left the band. The original cover, the back cover of that, was taken in a cafe, a Deptford cafe. I think it was called Popular Prices. And they tried to do a photo shoot with the band in fancy dress, and that hadn't worked out, so they'd gone to this cafe and just dressed down, really looking a bit scruffy. Harry had left the band. John Bentley was brought in when the repress, when the rejigged cover was done, so we've got John Bentley here on the cover, even though he didn't play on the album. And I know later on that was put right when the CD of Cool for Cats came out. They reinstated the original cover with Harry Kukuli, so that's quite nice that Harry ended up back on there. But bit garish, isn't it? And a bit cheesy, I think. I'm going to give that one, I'll give that one a 7 out of 10. Now this next one, Argy Bargy, this was a bit of a sort of turning point for the group really. This was the most lavish package they'd had yet. This is the one where the band had taken their own photographs. Michael Ross again, using this camera where you've got a lead on the camera and you press the button. You can see them on the back there. You can see in each picture, you can see the, the camera lead snaking off. This is my signed copy, signed by Chris in Morecambe a few years ago. The band, I don't think, liked this cover. It's treated with some kind of electronic effects, quite kind of garish. But it's fun. I like it. I like the fact that Chris and Glenn have both got hats. It's quite good that you get a shot on the inside cover of the actual photograph without the electronic effect, so you can see that they're kind of punching their way through a paper or a cardboard sheet of some kind. That's quite good fun, and I loved these pictures. As a kid I used to pore over these and just look at all the different all the different snapshots of the guys. You've got Gilson being a hunchback there, which is quite good fun. I always like this one where Glenn is holding on to his own leg. It was clear from this album, I think, that A&M was starting to put a bit more money into the band, trying to promote them a bit better and trying to give them something which was, a bit more eye-catching. Not the greatest cover in the world, but it is one I'm really, really fond of, actually. So I'm going to give that one a good, 9 out of 10 for that, for Argy Bargy. And then they took a step backwards, I think, for East Side Story. This, I do quite like this cover, but I do think it was a step backwards. Originally the album was going to be a gatefold, and the original cover, which came from the same photo session, is truly dreadful. A photo of the guys sort of all leaning to one side with these inane sort of wacky grins on their faces. Thank God that wasn't used. But the photo they finally did end up using, I don't know, they all just look, apart from John looks quite stylish and cool there. Everybody else just seems really dressed down to me. Chris looks like he's just rolled out of bed. His tie is askew on the cover, and sorry, I'm just trying to avoid the glare. That's why I keep messing around with the cover. Not the best picture of Paul Carrack. He looks a bit odd there, almost like his teeth have fallen out. And then on the back, now this picture, this was based on another album cover, wasn't it? This was based on something. My mind's gone blank now as to which cover it was based on. Leave a comment below if you know. I used to know, but I've forgotten. I can't remember. But it's based on another picture. Maybe it's from West Side Story, is it? I don't know, a bit of a mess that really. You've got Chris here doing a rather suggestive gesture there, which I was never convinced that was a particularly great idea. I quite like the logo on the front with the E trying to force itself into position, squeezing itself into position. I always thought that was quite clever. But yeah, it's not a wonderful cover. I mean, the album was such a big album, 14 songs, such an epic release. I always thought it should have been a gatefold really, and it seemed like a bit of a cheap, tossed off kind of cover. But yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. And then finally, 1982, so I didn't mention at the start, I'm only looking at 78 to 82. We'll do the other covers later. Sweets from a Stranger. Now, was this one also Michael Ross? Let's have a look and see whether we have anything to give us. No, it wasn't. It was the cover photography was Mike Putland, and it was designed by Squeeze and Simon Ryan. This is better. This is good. I think this is quite a clever cover. It's quite unique. I've never seen anybody else do a cover like this. You've got the band's faces peering through these irregularly shaped peepholes, very starkly lit. And I quite like the way on the back you've got the band names there lined up, and you have to match the shape to the face to work out who's who. Let's see if I can still do it. We've got Glenn, we've got John, we've got Don Snow, Gilson and Chris peeping there. Quite a nice cover that. I like it. I like the fact that it's dark, and I also like the way that the Squeeze lettering is done on these circular letters here that kind of start light and then get progressively darker. I also like the multicoloured writing here, which is a bit of an anticipation, I suppose, of the Babylon and On cover, where they started to use that multicoloured logo. What's cool about this record, it was the first time on a British release that they had the lyrics. Argy Bargy, I think the American edition of Argy Bargy had the lyrics, but we didn't get them. But for the first time ever, we actually had the lyrics, and they're printed over the top of, you can just see a very faint shape of photographs of drum kits and guitars. And then on the back, you have these caricatures, which apparently were done by Don Snow. And this picture was used as the T-shirt for the official 1982 fan club. I never was a member of that, but anyway, that was the T-shirt. Good cover, that. I think that is a good one. Quite sort of eye-catching. I'll give that one an 8 out of 10 as well. None of the covers score a 10 out of 10. I don't think any of them are like truly exceptional covers, but you know, there are some good ones there, some okay ones. Anyway, let me know what you think. What's your favourite Squeeze album cover, 78 to 82? Did I miss anything? Just let me know. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave me a comment, click like, all the good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.